guys, Devin here, Magewright Gaming. Just want to talk today about my the campaign that I just kind of ran. Took a bit of a break afterwards, but it's pretty good. I kind of had like a little small video series earlier. I was talking about some of the things I wanted to work on as a DM, and I did try to push myself to be better at those things. And I think that's a really good thing to do. Kind of sit down and identify your weaknesses, or ask your players sometimes. I mean, they don't even always know necessarily what you're doing wrong, but they a lot of the time may have critiques. Other DMs who play your games will also as well, especially if they're like from groups you don't always play with. So that's always a kind of a good way to make some progress, like in your DMing styles. And you don't necessarily have to like stick with what you're doing, but it's good to kind of go out there and try different things and build yourself up. So my challenge that I kind of gave myself this campaign was to really push on a good story, like be much more story heavy. I've always kind of been more of a combat kind of guy, or like a little bit of combat, or sorry, a little bit of story or whatever, with some with a lot of combat mixed in, which is fine. But I wanted to try to broaden the horizons on that. Make the character, or make my PCs care about their characters and the story that's kind of going on and stuff like that. So this time I made up like some cool backstories for like the players and stuff or whatever, and like wove them into the story, and most of them all dug it, so it was really good. I think the story was pretty good. I would say if I had any weaknesses, I think it would probably be that a lot of the characters in the campaign overall just didn't have a lot of airtime, so they didn't get a lot of growth and interest. Like, when I say characters, I mean the NPCs, which isn't like the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. It was kind of a shorter campaign. Like, I think it was like maybe 8 sessions, but I try to do some like smaller ones, because usually I do like these really giant ones and they just get really nutty, which is fine sometimes, but sometimes it's nice to try different things, or I get kind of almost bored like midway in, or I don't know if bored's the right word, but yeah, we're gonna go with that one for now, I guess. But I don't know, it's fine. But the shorter ones kind of helped with that or whatever, so that wasn't too bad. Combats were a little up and down on that one. Like, they were mostly pretty chill. I tried to scale the campaign as well. Like, this is another challenge I gave myself, to scale the campaign to the player characters. Because usually I make things really hard, so then people have to play all these meta builds and things like that. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that video by forget what his name was. I think it was like something 20, where he was kind of going off about Pathfinder 2nd Edition being, a real slog because people have to play builds certain ways, and like every character has to be played this specific way, and like that's why he was really bored with 2nd Edition Pathfinder. And I kind of get that to some extent, but at the same time, I think that you just need to scale stuff to the player party so that they can play kind of what they want to some extent. And I mean, hopefully everybody's in that same ballpark, because it definitely sucks when there's like one person who's just like really, really like min-maxed and stuff like that. Though I think 2nd Edition does a much better job at making that less the case. But in 1st Edition, it's very possible to have one person in the party who's just like way more well built than the rest of the party, which isn't always bad, but it really depends on where everybody else is. But this one, I told players, pick things you want to do, think builds that are fun. Like this, I will scale the content to you, so it'll still be challenging, but it won't be like, hey, you have to play these specific meta builds or whatever to get through the campaign, because that is definitely a thing I've seen, and some of the APs kind of even do that to some extent, though. I mean, most of the APs you can crush if you play like the really, so it's not like the worst thing, but it is something that I do concern myself with. So I wanted to challenge myself to be a bit better about that, and give the players an opportunity to play builds and things that they want to play, make these cool characters and things that they want to do. So I would really challenge people who are like, maybe if they're a little bit tired or whatever of the current having to build things in a certain specific ways or whatever, as a DM, or like adjust the content to the group, so that they can build things the way that they want. Because as I kind of mentioned or whatever, if you make the campaign too hard, there are a lot of builds that become less viable. I mean, like, hell, there's a tier list that I made or whatever, and like, while I would say most of the tier list or whatever can compete in even like the really hard campaigns or whatever, there's very clearly classes that do better job. And but also the things in the tier list have to be built in a very specific manner, like on the lower end of it or whatever, to compete with the dudes who are on the higher end, or to keep up, I should say. So that kind of sucks. So it's just something to look out for, something to try to adjust your campaign based on the players or whatever. Still make it challenging, but that level of challenge, like what one party finds challenging, the other party might not, or maybe those set of characters. But though that was one thing that I found that was really, really, really effective, because the party really enjoyed playing their characters or whatever, because they got to try and do things that they don't usually do, and not everybody was like a big monster or everything, but everybody played stuff or whatever, and they got to play things they normally haven't really gotten to play, because usually we do like APs, or I run really, really hard, like the harder APs, but also like I run hard games usually for combat. So I really enjoyed not doing that this time, and it was really interesting to kind of build up on the story and the setting and the background of all of these characters. It was definitely really enjoyable, and the combats were still solid, but I think I probably could have did a better job at making them more interesting, I would say. But no, that's definitely something that is an opportunity for sure out of that campaign. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my progress on that one, because there was a lot of things that I challenged myself to be better at that I did get better at. I'm not going to say that like I fixed my issues with it or whatever, but I took a good step in the right direction or whatever, and I made some really good progress or whatever, and learned a lot about DMing from this last camp. And it was really, really fun. So yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to do some more of those or whatever in the future. For my next one, I'm probably going to be trying out Vampire Masquerade 5th edition, though, just because I want to give it a shot, and I really like World of Darkness. I love the 2nd edition or whatever it was. Like I think I played it like 10 years ago or something like that. So definitely really cool. So I am very excited to try that out. But after that, I'm going to be playing some more Pathfinder stuff. I mean, I do have more Pathfinder content coming out on the channel. I'm just really slow, and I like to procrastinate. I'm not always sure what to like do. I'm not sure exactly what people want to do. I think my next video is going to be a big rant on like healers and stuff, though, because it kind of drives me nuts sometimes. Like when people play healers or like don't want to play cleric because like they think that they just heal, and like you don't have to just heal. Like you can very easily do something else effectively while having healing spells. But that's a whole other video that I will get into later on down the line. But no, basically I'm just saying that like try to figure out what you could do to work on your DMing style. Ask your players, or maybe they want to try different things, or see where it's at. I mean, like I always talk to my players and always like, hey guys, I'm gonna try this. I know it's kind of weird, but it's kind of the plan or whatever. What do you guys kind of think, or what do you guys think I could have did better in this campaign or whatever as a DM, or what would be more interesting, or how did this campaign turn out or whatever? Because I know that most of the players like in my group, they really liked this campaign, and I did a lot of weird things. Like I actually built all of their backstories, and they kind of had like amnesia, and they had to unlock it and stuff. And it was a really odd campaign because they were all like undead, risen to take revenge on the one who like killed them. It was kind of a weird murder mystery thing. But they get to unlock who they were as a person, and if they didn't like who they were as a person, then they kind of just like tried to be a better person and build up on who they are now after they've awoken with these no memories and context, and be like, oh well, I was not a good person. Or they're like, hey, no, I'm gonna actually really worry about these things and do these things and try to be better, or I'm very, very into this lifestyle, and I'm very worried about the people that I care about and stuff. So most people really embraced their stories. They really liked them. I think I had one person who just wasn't super into their story, but like they weren't like they didn't hate it or anything. They actually kind of like they kind of liked it and stuff. They just kind of went a different way than I expected them to, and that's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. Like when players like kind of do something cool with the story and kind of put their own spin on it or whatever, it's kind of neat. So, and I felt like that was really good. I don't usually do big story campaigns, so for me this is pretty cool. For you guys, for you big Chad story based DMs out there who make these cool plots and big character development, kudos to you guys, because like honestly, this shit's really hard. I put way more time into this campaign than I have any other campaign I think I've ever ran, in terms per session. So, really nice job on that front. I just wanted to say, and for other people who are working and struggling on that or whatever, I wish you the best of luck and try to evaluate where you're at. Like I said, there's definitely some videos out there that'll help you guys get a bit better at that. And I've definitely listed some in Discord. There's definitely other ones on YouTube. There's even courses for D&D now, or for like DMing. So, but no, I'd give those a shot, guys. And I think that's mostly all I got on this video. I'll try to have that healer one out though, like within the week or whatever. And I think that's mostly all I got. Thanks for watching my videos, guys. I really appreciate it. I know that I'm not like doing crazy well on views, but honestly I didn't expect to even get as many as I have been, so I appreciate you guys watching my content. And let me know if you guys have suggestions or questions or things you want answered, or videos on some kind of subject, build matter, or my opinions on something. Just let me know. And please like and subscribe. And I think that's basically all I got. Have a good day.